My name is Christiansen. I'm from DataLink. I'm the practice director for cloud and data center transformation. Well, FlexPod's an architecture that a lot of our major customers are running their most mission critical stuff. You know, the big value prop is it's been really well thought out, well put together. So what it's doing is it's getting them to get their applications to market more quickly, and it's taking risk out of their business because there's less for them to try to figure out. Well, again, we mentioned, and we've probably sold well over 500 clients on FlexPod. It becomes an architecture, so in some cases they understand the architecture and they say, okay, I got another data center, so they can go and recreate. So we've had clients that have bought dozens. You know, in others, it just gives them the assurance that this application is going to run. So there's a tremendous amount of attributes about it. Yeah, it's been in the market for probably 8 years now. So it might seem like that's old for technology, but it's continually improving in simplicity and performance and reliability. So absolutely, it's very well tested. There's probably 100 CVDs, so that tells you how much testing they do. We do additional testing, management, monitoring. Because it's an integrated system, it is really a lot easier to monitor, manage, and operate. Yeah, I mean, FlexPod's primarily built to scale up, so to take your most important applications, you can scale it out to some degree, but it is really that application. There's a lot of different architectures, cloud things, hyper-converged things, et cetera, that have different attributes for them. But when you have your most mission critical stuff and you need it to scale up and provide consistent performance, that's really what it's built for. Well, NetApp, you know, we actually put a layer over that. So we support the entire FlexPod environment plus applications and cloud and things like that. So that's something that you'll see with us as delivery. Now what happens is NetApp and Cisco have been working together very closely, and they work together very closely. So if we run into a problem where we need support from NetApp or Cisco to support our client, it goes very quickly because they are, you know, they're working together in labs, designing, managing, and supporting these environments. FlexPod is, you know, it's pretty straightforward if you know what you're doing in data center. So it is, there are simpler things. FlexPod is, you know, people where you still need IT staff to set it up. That's what we do. We help build it out for the client, things like that. So it's not a, you know, one button thing, which there are some things like that, but again, it's more of an enterprise architecture. Now, is it straightforward for us? Absolutely. You know, to set it up, certify it, validate it, and there's a lot more to it, getting applications on it, tying it into your operations. Well, I think, you know, it's always improving. So we went from the first FlexPods, then all flash. You know, we're actually sitting here with Cisco at Cisco Live, talking about some of the new features in UCS that are coming out, that'll get integrated, so there's exciting stuff that we probably can't even talk about. And then better ways to make it simpler to operate. So when you say is it easy for you to set up, well, it doesn't matter if the customer doesn't have to do it, and they're enabling us to provide those seamless services, so, you know, cloud-like services, cloud-like experience. So lots of stuff still happening, even though it's an 8-year-old product. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways to measure that, you know, but the ROI is compared to the old way, and the old way, quite frankly, was they were trying to figure out plumbing. What do I do with networking? What do I do with storage? What do I do with compute? How do I make it work together? How do I test it? So I don't know how many people, there's lots of papers on ROI, you know, 8 to 1, 10 to 1, whatever it is, but it's pretty straightforward to understand that I'm not doing all this busy work and plumbing and things like that. It's coming in pretty much delivered to me as an integrated system. I'm delivering applications, so there's a lot of different ways to measure that, from business outcomes to what it cost me to do it. You know, at first they didn't. At first they thought, why wouldn't I just buy all this stuff myself and figure it out? And quite frankly, initially, you know, 5, 6 years ago, a lot of companies were organized differently. They had a networking team, they had a server team, they had a storage team, and they didn't even agree. And so we actually had to help them understand the value of coming together. And as people start going in and start thinking, okay, I need service-like delivery, I need to compete with cloud. You know, if I'm going to deliver an application to my company, I got to compete with how other people are doing it. So they had to start figuring out how to consolidate. So it's a converged infrastructure, and they really had to. And so there are a few companies that are still a little disorganized, but most of them, even large companies, have come back and said, you know what, I get it. This is why I need to do this. I mean, it's a 10 for us, obviously. We've got, again, we will go in and talk to a client about, here's all the things you're trying to do, from cloud to this to that, and a significant percentage comes to the conclusion that I want to run my most important stuff on FlexPod architecture. So it's a 10 for us in every way.